Hey everyone, it's Aya to Japan, and today I'll be talking about how much it actually costs to build a house in Japan. I'll be sharing the real numbers based on my own house building experience, and I'll also walk you through what each cost actually means. So if Japanese terms like koteshi sanze or jiban kairyohi look intimidating, don't worry, I'll explain everything. Now I know it can be hard to keep pausing the video every time a new Japanese term comes up, so I'll be putting a list of all the house building vocabulary in the description below. Make sure to check it out. Depending on where in Japan, land can actually become the biggest expense in your house building journey. To give you a better idea of what the land prices actually are, here's a quick comparison of average land prices across Japan. After a lot of searching, we finally found this small piece of land near Osaka that met our needs and our budget. Land price, Tochi Konyu Hi, 10 million yen. This is the price of the land itself. And this is the one that finally made sense for our budget and lifestyle. We're not in Osaka, but we're close. So for this price range, here's the kind of situation you might expect. The property isn't close to a train station. We needed a car. And not just any car, we couldn't go with a K car. Because it's on a hill, K cars are kind of underpowered here and might be a nightmare to drive. So we needed something with more torque and more power. Of course, there were great points too. Aside from it being very cheap, we have this amazing, beautiful view every night. There's also no train noise that's pretty typical if you live in Japan. And also, even if there's no train station that's close, there's actually a bus stop nearly 3 minutes away, so we're not exactly cut off from civilization. So after saving for 5 to 6 years, my wife and I actually had the ability to pay for the land up front. But since we were taking a home loan, the bank said no, you have to use the home loan for both the house and the land. However, because I was a foreigner at that time, I had to pay around 20% in cash as down payment. So in the end, even if we didn't pay the seller directly, we actually sort of did pay for the house up front. This kind of roundabout process is actually very common in Japan. Real estate agent fee,仲介手数料, 360,000 yen. Real estate agent fees in Japan are regulated. For us, it was around 3% of the land price plus 60,000 yen on top. This was not negotiable. However, the good news is this fee can be rolled into your home loan, so you don't have to pay in cash. Land registration, Tokihi, 300,000 yen. This is the legal cost to transfer the land from the seller's name to mine. This is handled by a scrivener and they manage all official paperwork and government filings. Demolition, Kaitaihi, 3,300,000 yen. This varies depending on the property, so the total cost includes tearing down the old house, removing the furniture and the materials and the rubble, and also digging and removing the soil so that it can be prepared for ground improvements. So this was not done by our builder, they outsourced this to a local demolition company. Buried object removal, Maisetsubutsu Tekkyohi, 320,000 yen. This part really depends on what's under your land. Most of the time you actually won't know what's underneath unless you go and dig. So during excavation, the demolition company actually found that there were these large stones buried under the property. This was not covered in the demolition fee, so they gave us an initial quote of 1 million yen. I immediately questioned it, because based on our contract, if buried objects were found underneath our property, the seller was actually obliged to help with the costs. After learning that, we contacted the real estate agent, but they refused to connect us with the seller. They said that since it's our land, it's already our responsibility and there's nothing they can do about it. So what we did was we involved a lawyer and had them send a strongly worded letter. Fortunately, the seller was a very wonderful person and they agreed to pay half the costs. Ground strengthening, Jiban kairyohi, 660,000 yen. Not every property needs ground strengthening, but many older plots do. In our case, the soil needed reinforcement to meet modern building standards here in Japan. This reduces the risk of uneven settling and improves stability during earthquakes, so I think it's money well spent. Government mandated tests, 220,000 yen. These tests are required to confirm whether the land is actually safe to build on. Geotechnical investigation, Jiban Chosa. They check if your land can actually support a house. This also determines whether ground strengthening is actually needed. It also measures soil stability, hardness, and soft layer depth. Preliminary land survey, Karisokuryo. This confirms property boundaries. It ensures your building fits within the legal limits. To get an idea of what that actually means, we had to go around the property, greet our neighbors, and then we were like, oh, this is our property, this is your property. That's clear, thank you. It also prevents disputes with your neighbors down the road. Pun intended. Total land costs, 15,160,000 yen. Next, we'll be talking about the house itself. How much did the house construction actually cost? House construction cost, Tatemono hontai koji, 35 million yen. We were initially quoted 37 million yen, but we were able to negotiate down to 35. It wasn't a huge discount. We could have gotten more if I pushed harder, but by then we were actually very tired and we just wanted to start building the house. Maybe that was a huge mistake, so if you managed to negotiate more for your house in Japan, let me know in the comments below. We paid 100,000 yen for the initial design proposal. This was in cash. This amount was later deducted from our total construction cost. Since it was 35 million yen, it was actually around 34,900,000 yen. Also, because we use a local builder partner with the designer, they literally share one office. The full design fee, which was around 4 million yen, was waived. So this kind of thing isn't actually common, so depending on your builder, you might have to pay this fee. Make sure to check in advance. Optional upgrades. Option koji, 1 million yen. Upgrades are called options when building a house in Japan. These are features that aren't included in the basic coat. For example, a second floor toilet isn't actually standard in Japan, so adding it could add to the cost. Some of the upgrades I personally added was a second floor toilet and also a sunken living room area. Depending on your lifestyle and wants, these options can add up very quickly. So before signing the contract, make sure you know what's included in the builder's base plan. Parking, chushadai, 150,000 yen. Because unlike my home country, street parking is actually quite restricted in Japan. Especially for large construction trucks, you need a place to put them. Of course, they won't be there every day, but when they are, you need to secure a parking spot. Management fees, Gemba kanrihi, temporary facilities fees, kasetsu koji, 1 million yen. This is basically the operations fee when building a house in Japan. Traffic guides on narrow roads, temporary toilets for workers, scaffolding installation, and other necessary temporary structures. Transportation fees, umpanhi. Disposal fees, shobunhi, 450,000 yen. All construction materials need to be brought on site, and any waste generated should be disposed of. It also includes a large dumpster that will stay in the property for the entirety of the construction period. Utility connection fee, hikikomi koji, 400,000 yen. So to connect our new house to water, electricity, and gas, we needed to pay this fee. It appears this is quite standard, and it's actually not included in the house cost. Application fees, 1,100,000 yen. This is one of the most important steps when you build a house in Japan. Confirmation application, kakunin shinsei. The construction plans must be reviewed by the government and approved before the builder can actually legally start working. This confirmation process checks compliance with the Building Standards Act. It includes structural safety, earthquake resistance, fire safety, and setback regulations. Without this approval, construction cannot begin. Energy Efficiency Certification, Shoei Shinsei. So if you want to qualify for a tax break on your mortgage, you must submit this energy efficiency application. It verifies that your home meets current insulation and energy saving standards. Even if your builder is already known for using high-performance insulation, you still need to submit this mandatory application. And yes, our house is quite insulated that even in the winter, on the second floor, it sometimes gets so hot that we need to open the windows. Ceremonies, 20,000 yen. These ceremonies are completely optional. Personally, I think it adds to the whole experience, so I did it. Japan has a long tradition of construction-related rituals. Many families still perform these rituals to bless the land, pray for safety, and also show respect to the workers. For these two ceremonies, it paid around 20,000 yen, but depending on your region and whatever you want to do, this cost can vary. Groundbreaking ceremony, Jichinsai. Let's talk about the groundbreaking ceremony. This ceremony is meant to purify the land, pray for safe construction, and also offer gratitude to the local deity. This actually normally costs around 80,000 to 100,000 yen. Included in the cost is your local shrine coordinating a full-on event. If you pay this fee, a priest from the shrine will come to your construction site and bless the land. I went for the more affordable option, which was around 5,000 yen. I ordered an offering from the local shrine, and then we did the ceremony by ourselves along with our builder. We also bought things like salt, rice, and also refined sake. What you need may actually differ depending on your region, so ask your builder what to do.
Framework racing ceremony, muneage.
This ceremony is less spiritual and more of a celebration of progress. It usually happens when the wooden frame goes up. The goal of this ceremony is to meet the carpenter and all the other workers, offer them a short thank you speech, and give them a token of appreciation. We prepared snacks, tea, and also some energy drinks. However, some families give small cash envelopes, but it's completely optional.
Financing fees, yushi tesuryo. Transfer fees, furikomi tesuryo. 120,000 yen.
These fees include mortgage handling fees, wire transfer fees during the process, and other small charges required by the bank. They're not huge individually, but they do add up.
Registration fees, 600,000 yen.
This category covers several legal procedures required when building a house in Japan. These fees are also handled by a scrivener, but they could be a different scrivener from the one who handled your land.
Mortgage removal of previous owner, teitoken masho.
If the previous owner still had a mortgage on their property, you have to pay to get this removed.
Registration as collateral, tampo sette.
If you're taking out a mortgage, your new house must be registered as collateral for the bank. This is legally required and cannot be skipped. House registration,
toki.
This is basically the same as land registration.
Total house cost, 38,690,000 yen. Exterior costs, gaiko koji, 2,700,000 yen.
Exterior construction costs in Japan can actually get very expensive. In our case, we were actually running low on cash at that time, so we made the painful decision to pick the lowest bidder. This was a huge mistake. I'll explain why it was a mistake in a later video, but it cost us huge stress at that time. This fee includes fencing, a gate post, and also concrete work.
Revenue stamps, shunyu inchidai, 120,000 yen.
In Japan, many major documents require stamps to be approved. If you live in Japan, and if you've ever renewed your residence card, you've probably come across one of these. I think it would be around 4,000 or 6,000 yen, but for mortgages, it's going to be around several 10,000 yen stamps. They're also quite easy to lose, so be careful. You can buy this at the post office in Japan. Your builder should tell you how much and how many.
Real estate acquisition tax, fudosan shitokuzei.
So this is a one-time fee you must pay when you actually acquire property in Japan. Most people buy a house and just live in it, but in our case, we bought the house to demolish and then rebuild it. In this case, because the building was demolished, it didn't make sense to pay tax for a house that wasn't there. So the government allowed us to defer the payment until the house was ready. As of the time I made this video, we still haven't received a payment slip and we're still waiting to pay for it. So I don't know the exact amount yet.
Property tax, koteshi sanze, 120,000 yen.
Koteshi sanze, or property tax, is different from fudosan shitokuzei, or real estate acquisition tax. Real estate acquisition tax is paid once when you buy the property. Property tax is paid every year. Because we bought the land in the middle of 2024, the seller actually paid for the taxes up until they transferred the house to us. That was for 2024. For 2025, we have to pay the full amount by ourselves. One thing to note is that Japan actually taxes vacant land at a higher rate. Once a building is finally registered, the tax goes down. So whether your land is classified as vacant land or land with a house is decided on January 1st every year. On January 1st, 2025, our house was not yet finished, so technically we're living on empty land. Right now the house is finished, so next year it will be officially recognized. Hopefully the tax drops at that time.
Fire insurance, kasai hoken. Earthquake insurance, jishin hoken, 250,000 yen.
Our insurance package costs around 250,000 yen, and that includes things like wind damage protection and legal support. One thing to note about Japanese home insurance is that while fire insurance generally covers 100% of the cost, earthquake insurance on the other hand covers only 50%. Some insurance companies like Sony Sompo can cover 100%, but you'd have to pay an extra cost. Personally, I think it wasn't worth the cost, so I stuck with the standard plan.
Total exterior, tax, and insurance costs, 3,310,000 yen.
So here are some financial lessons I learned during the whole process. If you're not a citizen or a foreigner with PR or long-term residency, you'll probably need a down payment. This means cash. On top of that, you probably won't get a good rate. It can get very expensive compared to the average Japanese citizen, so make sure you keep that in mind. When choosing options or non-standard upgrades, you can either pay in cash or do it through a loan. However, if you do it through a loan, make sure it fits the budget. If it goes over the budget, the bank won't increase the cash they give to you. You'll have to cover it. In our case, we went around 500,000 yen over the loan and we had to pay for that in cash. The numbers in this video don't include furniture or other things you need when you start to move in. Just furniture will probably exceed 1 million yen, especially if you buy new. However, in places like Yodobashi Camera or Big Camera, you can actually negotiate, so make sure you keep pushing for a lower price. One thing you can do is while looking at things at the appliance store, is look at your phone, check the internet prices, show the salesman, and they'll probably at least match the price for you. You can also ask for some random free things like laundry detergent. So when I was given a quote, I was also given an estimate for the exterior. The number I was given, 2 million yen, was not accurate at all. Like I mentioned in this video, we paid around 2,700,000 yen for exterior. And that was the lowest bidder. If we went with other bidders, it could have easily gone above 3 million yen. Not just with exterior costs, but take your builder's estimates with a grain of salt. So for me, that was how much it cost to build the house in Japan. Thank you for watching all the way through the end. And if you have any questions or things to share, please comment down below. Thank you and see you in the next video.